Every now and then, the sport still surprises me. The Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn fight was one of the best I've seen in quite a few months. Full of atmosphere, great action, and family pride on the line. Heading in, I had my doubts. Eubank Jr. seemed more focused on social media, posting videos of himself draining down to make the 160-pound limit. It felt like he might have been setting up an excuse, just in case things went sideways. His career has always been a bit of a puzzle. I thought he hit his peak after defeating James DeGale back in 2019, but after that, his career stalled. No big fights materialized, and the momentum he should have had from that win just faded away. But last night reminded us, even at 35 years old, when Eubank locks in, he's still dangerous. At his best, he's a whirlwind in close quarters, breaking opponents down with flurries, smothering any counterattack before it can even start. Against Benn, he fought the right style with the right tactics. Now, for Benn, this was supposed to be another launching point. 3 years ago, he was a dark horse in the welterweight division, raw, hyper-aggressive, and on the verge of a breakthrough. Then came the drug suspension, the long layoff, and a career that once looked like a rocket ship started to drift. And this fight, I thought it came down to two things, Eubank Jr.'s superior size and his experience. Benn fought as he always does, in one relentless gear, frantic and fierce. His engine didn't slow until the final round. Eubank, meanwhile, never let the moment consume him. He stayed composed, weathered the storm, and found ways to outland Benn in the key stretches of the fight. There were moments when Benn landed some big shots. He shook the bigger man more than once. But Eubank stood tall, absorbing the punishment, holding his ground, and answering back when it counted. I thought he sealed the victory in the 12th round when he had Benn on his heels, just trying to survive to the final bell. And ironically, this fight, born partly out of legacy, partly out of desperation, jolted both men's careers back to life. The back-and-forth action, the raw emotion on display, it was all reminiscent of their father's first legendary clash. So I thought it'd be interesting to take a look back at that classic battle. I remember when it happened, in the boxing magazines here in the States, it barely got more than a blurb in the monthly fight reports. I didn't get to see this fight live. I watched it on tape much later. And what initially stood out, watching it again, was the atmosphere. The Birmingham crowd had it all, the passion, the singing, the kind of electric living energy we just don't have in the American arenas. British fans don't just watch a fight, they live it. They become part of the show. In the UK, Benn versus Eubank was a national emergency. And over here, only the hardcores knew who Nigel Benn or Chris Eubank were. And that's a shame because this was a matchup straight out of WWE storytelling. If you had to sketch two polar opposites, you couldn't have drawn them better than Benn and Eubank. On one side, you had Benn, a former soldier, blue-collar tough, swinging like he hated every living thing. He was the people's champ, coming to the ring with his eyes fixed in a 1,000-yard stare. On the other side, you had Eubank, the peacock, the aristocrat, strutting around in tailored suits, sometimes even wearing a monocle to press conferences. It was a no-nonsense street fighter versus a preening showman, and it made for a hell of a fight.
Sold probably more tickets here, but the Eubank camp feel that will inspire their man. 24-0 is Chris Eubank, but a lot of people on that record are under the caliber that Nigel Benn has fought in his career. And there, Chris Eubank with his trainer Ronnie Davis just in front of him in the red tracksuit. Eubank, simply the best, his anthem. Totally composed, totally his own man. He doesn't take advice kindly. I was with Barry McGuigan at a press conference earlier, keeping us all waiting. Remember, and here he comes, the champion, with the WBO belt, and his manager Ambrose Mendy. What a reception for Nigel Benn. threatening to raise the roof here at the NEC.
Thank you.
Well, those introductions, I mean, the way these guys are talking, the fight could be shorter than the introductions. Richard Steele, famous referee in the States, 79th World Championship, his first WBO. He handled Frank Bruno and Mike Tyson, among many others. And Bruno is with us, of course, tonight. And so is Michael Nunn, the World IBF middleweight champion. Let's have a look at these fellas. So he's bet £1,000 he can win in the opening round here, Chris Eubank. Now, is he more show than substance? We'll find out, but don't blink in case you miss the punch. But it might be Benn that throws the punch, and that's the kind of contest this is. Billed, of course, as who's fooling who. It lives up to half the expectations this fight. That'll do. He's such an unusual man, this Chris Eubank. He really is. Oh, he's coming outside on. Throwing punches back early. We knew Benn would come out firing, as he always does. But Eubank is answering him, even if he is doing it on the run.
He's doing it the wrong way in the first round, Reg. His hands are too low.
Oh, he's elusive enough, isn't he, Eubank? A real slippery character indeed, and of course unbeaten.
Benn not quite as cavalier as we've seen him. It looks as though he's trying to pick shots, so we can't fault him for that.
Now, going in and waging war recklessly might have come off second best very early. So a minute to go in the opening round.
Well, the first decent shots he landed have come from Eubank, Reg. There's nothing wrong with his temperament. He looks very calm as they come into the ring. He really fancies the job.
Well, we've never been sure with the 24 wins, really, because the opposition hasn't been that good. But this was very much a proving fight for Eubank, and the opening round is...
punches rather than to block them. And that obviously is dangerous with Nigel Benn, but his own punches are good and sharp in the first round.
Oh, it's getting rough. See, now that tires the fighter out when they lean on like that, Jim, doesn't it? Really push down there.
Yeah, I think he's just looking to mess Benn about as much as possible.
Well, Benn obviously likes a more conventional style with Doug DeWitt and Oran Barkley. They're both stand-up sluggers that he nailed.
Well, Benn just started to find his range at the end of the first round. He's found it a bit quicker in the second round here. So Eubank's trying to pull away from punches, Reg, and that's very dangerous for a man like this. You've got to block these punches, especially in the first 3 rounds.
So now he's doing his slow motion act, Eubank. It's incredible. He stands like a posing statue, and then he'll walk around and do a sort of Napoleonic strut. So into the final minute of the second then. Scheduled for 12.
Oh, that was a shot, Reg. Well, Eubanks has taken that one, Reg, yeah, so he can take a shot. That was the one.
Yeah. Other fighters haven't stood up with punches like that from Benn, have they?
That was a good shot, and that certainly got a reaction from Eubank. That was a lovely shot, Reg.
That's answered a lot of questions, Jim. Almost the final piece of the jigsaw, really, because I often wondered whether he could really take that good a punch.
Eubank is going to have to come back with punches, Reg. He's not going to be able to strut. He's going to have to try and hurt Benn. He's done it, Reg.
He's done Benn by the look of it. He chopped that right hand down, though. He's right above us, Benn. We're almost falling down in the ring on us here.
This is what we've seen Benn so dangerous from this position. Here it comes.
He's always saying he likes to battle back, Benn. Well, he's got to do it here. He tried to do it with Watson, but it didn't work.
Benn's legs are shaking.
Oh, and good job. Richard Steele, good referee, threw himself in the middle there. And meanwhile, he has a little strut around there, doesn't he, Eubank? Now that was the carpet from under his feet.
Benn's caught him again, but Eubank is taking these punches well, Reg. So Eubank at this stage certainly looks to have the stronger chin.
It's amazing, Jim, for a fellow who openly says he doesn't like the game and calls it brutal and all that kind of thing. He's a brave guy. Started his career, by the way, in America only with 4-round fights, and he won them all, 5 of them in Atlantic City.
So Eubank is still backing off Reg, and you would think after the success he would come forward, try to take the play away again. Benn is even more dangerous when you allow him to come forward.
So the first minute gone then in the 3rd round, and it's so the betting favourite was 11-8 on Benn. There might be a few twitchy backers around in this quite big audience. Oh, as you say, Jim, that's when he's dangerous, isn't he? Like a wounded animal, the way he flies back there, Benn. He's trying to draw Eubank into a close quarter fight now.
Eubank's nailed him with a couple of nice uppercuts, but when Benn's low, you know what's coming over, Reg. You know his hooks are coming over. That is when he's so dangerous, when he bends in front of you.
So big bad Benn, a little bit reddened around the left eye there, Jim. Notice that?
Yeah, well, he's taking a few shots. I see some blood in Eubank's left eye, but it's below, it's on the cheek. So it shouldn't be a problem.
Oh, he rocked there as well. End of the 3rd. Eubank always telling us he's the craftsman of the two. I mean, he's got kind of an artful butchery about him, isn't he? He's clever the way he does it.
Yeah, it has. Oh, lovely shot from Eubank. Is he going to follow up this time? Well, this is what he should have been doing, trying to back Benn up. He should never allow Nigel Benn to come forward. See, once again, that's when he's dangerous.
Propped himself on the ropes here. He took a few unnecessary punches. Well, none of them are necessary, but he really could have got away from the ropes quicker than that. It's a bit worrying for Benn if he wants Eubank to punch himself out. I don't think that's going to happen.
See, Eubank still swaying from the waist, Reg, and that's why he's been caught so often by Benn. He's obviously
we're going to get a kind of hit and hop it, runaway type of action from him, but that hasn't been the case.
No, well, he certainly gave us a show, Reg. He said he could do the business. Well, he's mixing it, and I want it. Well, that was a lovely uppercut shot. It shoot Eubank just as it landed, but his head's cleared again.
Oh,
I think that was more of a stumble, Reg.
Well, no, he banged that left hook to the ribs as well. He's not. And he fought Kid Milo, I noticed. Eubank didn't seem to like that body punching. Well, who would? But he showed it too much there, didn't he?
And he's springing with his right hand at his. He's not throwing the same short, tight punches that he was throwing before Eubank. He's starting to stretch, and his defences have come apart a little bit in this round, Reg.
The fight for 12 rounds.
Well, the nice thing about Benn, he doesn't too often have to go 12 rounds, but he's landed cracking shots, and Eubank has taken well. I'm not saying he can take them indefinitely, but he's taken some beauties, and he hasn't even really been shaken. But that was another one, Reg, another good right hand. Eubank takes that well again.
A little bit more caution now with Benn, isn't he? So he's standing off there, trying to wait for somebody's lead there on the rather large swelling there, almost thumb size under Benn's left eye.
Another good left hook from Benn, which Eubank takes again, Reg.
He's really doing his punch picking now. He's posing in his punch picking for Eubank. What confidence he's got.
Well, this is what Eubank is better at. He must have been fearing the first 4 rounds of this battle. He must be thinking, if I get past the first 4 or 5 rounds, then we come into my territory, and that might be the case. And I did notice there was a little kind of friendly pat from Benn at the end of the 5th round.
He had his problem with his mouth, Jim, in or out of the ring. Oh, he's got him in a headlock there, isn't he?
Well, I think Benn has realised the 5th and 6th weren't his best rounds, so he's trying to... Oh, 2 good shots now. Will Benn take those, Reg?
So he knows instantly, Eubank, when he's got the man in trouble.
This is where Eubank must be careful.
He's saying, OK, come on, now Benn's answering him back. I thought that would happen. The referee might just calm them down a minute and say, I don't want any talking, I'm the only guy who's paid for the talking, apart from the commentators. Another low blow, and he's going to make a meal of that. But they're calling Benn on, saying, take no notice, the corner will get into him.
That just looked like a borderline shot to me, Reg. Is that a little bit of Eubank's character slipping there? I don't know, but that just looked like a borderline shot then.
Almost. Coming out for round 8. Vic Andretti in Benn's corner there, saying, I want you to weave and duck your way in under those punches. He might be closing Benn, but he's not exactly pouring at some kind of unfamiliar object. He's managing to get them through.
I mean, you have to hand it to Benn. I mean, a few times in his career he's had to grit his teeth, and he's always managed, apart from Michael Watson. I'm surprised that Eubank hasn't tried to make better use of his jab, because Benn does come straight on in.
Yeah, exactly. Professes to be a master of the noble art. Oh, right. Almost came out on that lap there, Jim. A little bit of a slip. He's arguing with the referee. It was a slip. But there's no point in him shouting at him, because he got clipped at the same time.
I think it was a bit of both, Reg. It was a slip, but it was a punch that caused him to slip, so you got to count.
3 American judges, remember, if this does go 12. Referee doesn't play each other like this. It's fascinating, isn't it, really?
Yeah, well, the 5th and 6th rounds, the fortune swung in Eubank's favour, and I thought he would have put the pedal down, but full credit to Benn. He came out in the 7th with a good round. And he's raised the pace, and he's kept the pace up.
Trying to do the refereeing as well, Eubank. He's showing that was a rabbit punch back of the neck. But Richard Steele ignored it. I wonder how these judges are scoring it now, Jim. He's from to fight Steve Collins, the Dubliner who fights in the States and has already challenged for the world title.
Eubank is becoming a little bit negative now, Reg. He threw a punch and missed it, and he ducked away down. You know, he's not quite as positive in his approach in this round as he's been earlier. He's going to have to strike himself up. Maybe he needs to land a couple of shots like that just to bring his confidence back.
He has finished the 12-rounder, actually, Eubank against an Argentinian, but that was an easily forgotten fight, actually.
Grit his teeth and show how much he wants this championship. Eubank just a little bit negative.
Well, a bad punch landed on the back of his leg, actually, as he was falling. He was falling for that.
That was Benn.
Oh, what a shot.
Shot really shaker.
Opened him up with the left hand and then shot the right hand over, and it connected. There's the countdown. If he did go down, the count would continue.
Ben's shaking, Reg.
Oh, right to his boots, Jim.
Benn is shaking. The eyes watch, Reg. This will be the finish of the belt.
It's all over in the 9th round. And would you believe, in Benn's corner, they looked as though they were objecting to that for a minute. Why was it stopped? But I think...
Ladies and gentlemen, the WBO champion...
So the formal announcement then.
To the winner, Chris Eubank.
Well, nobody can begrudge Eubank a victory, Reg. He took his best shots. He boxed well, he boxed the way he wanted to box, he controlled the action. A lovely performance from him.